Coming at you live.
Oh,
Why am
stay
I?
out my way. That's all I gotta say.
Fucking shit.
Show us how you beat somebody up, Sam.
Real quick.
She's gonna fuck him up. Damn.
Yeah. Think I shall be playing.
Are you ready for this? Yes, I hope.
Rock the house, y'all.
Welcome back to my channel, Rebel Industry, and today I'm going to be giving you all the tea on Veld this year. Him too. This year we had an awesome time at Veld. I was lucky enough to be joined by Selena and Sam. If you're not from Toronto, Veld is one of the biggest festivals that we have here in Canada, I would say, not just Toronto. And it's usually got a stacked lineup. So this year, some of the headliners were Skrillex and Tiesto, so all the mainstream big room house bangers that you would expect. And I was really excited because Fisher had featured a stage, and some of the artists that were headlining there were Proc and Fitch, which if you know me, then you know they are one of my favorite all-time DJs. There also was Shiva San, there was Sid, and Fisher obviously played an amazing set. So I'm just gonna give you guys the juicy gossip from Veld and let you in on basically the entire festival experience for myself and the girls. So for day one, I was just coming home from my week vacation at the cottage with my family, and I met up with Sam and Selena at my place. If you know me, you also know I usually host the pre. Joe came over after and we all basically were drinking together. So if you were asking me what my go-to is for not having your body feeling destroyed after a festival, so the number one thing that I do before heading out to the festival, even before I start drinking or pre-gaming, is I take a supplement that basically, it's like an herbal supplement. It's basically to prevent hangovers, but it's literally my go-to, and every person I show it to literally gets obsessed with it. So Selena loved it, and Sam's had it before because she knows that I buy it here and there whenever we go to festivals. It's definitely a lifesaver. I also take a few other supplements just to make sure my body's gonna be able to get through the entire festival and make sure I don't get any cramping. Obviously there's a lot of walking at festivals, so I usually take magnesium, omega, vitamin B12, a multivitamin, just to kind of make sure my body has everything it needs, and I drink a ton of water. This is a common error if you're at a festival all day and you're not drinking water. Doesn't matter if you're drinking alcohol or whatever else you are doing, you need to be drinking water because it gets hot, and I find that dehydration is one of those things where sometimes you don't realize you're dehydrated, but you may get a headache or you may feel, you know, lightheaded. Even if you get muscle cramps, water is the number one thing that can prevent them. So I tend to drink 8 glasses of water a day at least, but especially when I'm going to a festival, I make sure I stay hydrated. Usually I'll wear my vibration backpack so that I have the 1.5 liter in my back. That way I can just fill it up when I get there at one of the water stations and then just put it on over my back, and I have the ability to drink water wherever I am. So it kind of saves you trips of buying water all the time. If you don't have a vibration backpack, you can also just literally bring in an empty water bottle and then fill it up when you get there. It's just good to have though, because honestly, like, the water at festivals is so expensive for no reason. Like, should be able to stay hydrated for free. But anyways, for day one, the girls showed up around 1, so we started getting ready together, and then Joe came over. We just preed for a little bit, and then we headed out to the festival. If you've never been to Veld before, parking there is kind of a nightmare, and I find that if you can find like a close by plaza to park at, there's a plaza right at, I think, Keel and Shepherd that we normally park at, so that's where we parked. For the festival, getting there was really funny and interesting. Sam thought it would be a good idea to bring like 3 bottles of alcohol in the car, and just decided to keep forcing us to take shots. I don't know why she thought we were gonna finish 3 bottles of alcohol, but that's Sam for you. And basically by the time we got to the festival, we were pretty lit.
Lie.
Yeah, so when we got to the fest, it was pretty easy getting in. There were some years where it was like absolute insanity. I remember, I think it was like 3 years ago that the lineup was like all the way around the gate and like all the way down. It was like super horrible getting in. This year was awesome. Both days we had no problems for the most part, and we went at 4:30, so thinking that might be a little bit more busy later in the day, but there was no issues getting in, so that was pretty awesome. Sam and I had VIP wristbands, so either way we could have gone through the gates on the VIP side, but funny enough, the VIP lineup was actually a little bit longer, so we just went in through the general admission lineup with CC. But once we got in, as you saw in the intro, there was a lot of people.
Jesus Christ! Why are there so many people here?
Like, it is insane.
It's a little bit overwhelming when you first enter the festival because it's not that big of a festival ground, but there was a lot of people, and pretty much everywhere you go is crowded, so you kind of have to keep that in mind before you go. Going earlier in the day is better if you want to just have more space and maybe shoot a couple videos or whatever, but for us, we didn't really have anyone we wanted to see earlier on in the day, so that's why we left a little bit later. When we first got to the festival, we headed just to do a little bit of content promotion for me. I was lucky enough to be working a job for the festival, so I also had a little bit of content to do. So we went to the main stage and we went to the far left side, and as we were going through, they started playing hardstyle and we all went off. It was really awesome. I'm not sure who was playing at the time, maybe Rehab, but it was really awesome. Like, I was pleasantly surprised. We were literally going off, as you will see. We basically like freaked out when they started playing hardstyle, and we all were like super jamming and just like, you know, headbanging and stuff, so it was really fun. And then we went into the VIP section for a little bit. For the most part, the VIP was not worth it. I would say for anyone who had to pay for their tickets, the VIP section for a long period of the day was making you line up to get up onto the bleachers, which I thought was a little absurd, because if you're paying for access to go up somewhere and you have to wait half an hour to go there, it was just a little much for me, at least. But again, I didn't have to pay for my tickets, so I was not about to complain. I just thought, you know, for people who spend the extra money to get VIP and then they can't even enter the VIP section and stand on the bleachers for like that amazing view, I thought that was kind of silly. I mean, maybe they oversell their tickets, but when we kind of stared up at the top of the bleachers, the top 2 tiers were completely empty. They had them actually cut off. So I'm guessing it's because the big baller people with their booths hadn't come in yet, so those areas were all roped off only for them. Kind of a bummer, but overall, I mean, once we got into that area, it was really cool and there was a great view. But there was a few times where we wanted to go in and like just take some pictures or just vibe out in there, and we just didn't get an opportunity to, because we figured the lineup was too long and we were already standing for like 15 minutes and it wasn't really moving, so we kind of just decided to go somewhere else. That day, I think my favorite set and Sam and Selena's favorite set was Ski Mask. We all were really excited to go see Ski Mask. I'm not really like a huge fan of rap. I love rap, but I don't personally like, I don't know the music that well. I basically only know artists and music because of Sam and Bebo. So basically when we went to the stage, I was like super pumped because I knew all the songs already, because Sam blasts them like every time she's over at my house or when we're in the car. So like I actually really like Ski Mask a lot, and I was really excited, and it was super hyped up. Like we were all like jumping around.
like a nigga step back, cool cat, like straight in the freezer in the back, like a Jay-Z, no longer on the back, but about the death money, okay, like.
I didn't know what to expect in terms of the crowd because it's always weird when you throw rap together with EDM, but for the most part, it was super fun. The crowd was really awesome. Like, we had a really good time.
Let's go! Okay!
Ski Mask threw down. He like had an awesome set and played like all the popular tracks, but also a few tracks that we like super loved. So for the most part, I would say Ski Mask was super awesome, and Sam was really happy that she got to see him. So I know she saw him at Rolling Loud, but she was happy to see him again.
He's about to throw bangers. Okay. Water.
And then for the most part, we kind of spent our time either at the Hennessy stage, which was the rap stage, or we would go back and forth to like the main stage area. I didn't really spend much time in the tent the first day. There wasn't really a lot of artists I wanted to see, but yeah, for the most part, I think we had a fun day on the first day. A lot of our friends actually only had tickets for day 2, so it was basically just us 3, and we spent some time with Joe as well from Zonify. So it was basically just us, and we had a really awesome time. The fit that I was wearing, because I know a lot of you were asking, I was wearing kind of like a 2-piece black buckle set. And then the bottoms were like a fishnet chaps, but they had flames on them. And then the matching choker. And the full set was from Dollskill. It was super comfortable, and especially like the 2-piece, they were just like a soft, stretchy material. So for the most part, I was like super comfortable at the festival. So I can link you guys all the pieces that I was wearing as well if you guys are interested in that. I know a few of you were asking me what size I was wearing as well, so I'll link that for you guys. And then I guess the last thing that happened that day was just seeing Cardi B. I know everybody was kind of really excited to see like what her performance was going to be like, and it was super awesome. I must say, like, I'm not a huge fan of Cardi B. I pretty much know all her music, but I'm not like, you know, super obsessed with her or anything. But for the most part, her set was like super lit. She was getting the crowd all hyped up. She was dancing around. She had like a full performance with I guess a bunch of her girls in the background. I think that she played about like 6 songs because she actually made it like half an hour late, or like I think it was like half an hour, 45 minutes late, because she got stuck at the airport because her husband couldn't make it into Canada. So it was just her and her little baby. She was dancing around the stage with her baby, which was hilarious. It was kind of funny. And then at the very end, because she was late, she wanted to keep playing, and I guess maybe the Veld workers or whoever warned her that she was going to be cut off, but she kept going anyways. And it was so funny, like right when it hit 11 o'clock, her mic cut off, but she kept singing and dancing. You could see on the stage, but like nobody could hear. Like everyone was literally like filtering out, walking out of the festival, and she was still going off, like dancing around the stage. Like her backup dancers were still going. I was laughing so hard. Like we felt so bad because we're like, she's just really going off, and they wouldn't give her like another couple minutes to finish her song. But I guess they have rules to follow, so they would not let her continue. So yeah, her mic got cut, and that was pretty funny. For the most part, getting home was like a mission and a half. We should have left early, but we really wanted to see Cardi, and because she already got there late, we had to stay basically till the end of her set. And when we actually left, it was like a nightmare because like everybody was leaving at the same time. And if you know Downsview Park, the location is really bad for entering and exiting, basically, like for cars reaching it, because it's like a giant park kind of in North York. The access routes to it are like very few streets, so you basically have to take the subway, or you have to take an Uber, or you have to walk like miles just to like try and find a cab. So we basically decided to take an Uber the first day, and it was like super expensive to get to my place, which normally would have cost like $15. It cost like $60 or something crazy. And we wanted to take the subway, but like when we finally got there was like crowds and lineups of people like waiting to even get into the station. So we were like, that's not happening. Like, no thank you. I did not want to get stuck and jammed into like a subway car with a bunch of like crazy drunk people. So we opted for the Uber first day. And yeah, we literally had to like walk a little bit farther and try and meet them, and it was just like crazy. But it's always hell trying to get out of Veld, so I don't think they can ever really solve that problem very much. But for the most part, we got our Uber okay. Like, it was an insane amount of time that we got home. And then we went straight to bed because we were all like super exhausted. So now on to day 2, and day 2 was our favorite day because there was a lot more people going day 2 because of the lineup, and also it's just like, it was like an awesome vibe overall. The lineup was really awesome. So we slept in a little bit on day 2 on the Sunday. We took our hangover pills again, which by the way worked super well after a long day of drinking on day 1. We did not have hangovers on day 2, and we were, for the most part, feeling great. Like, no headaches, nothing, no nausea. So I will link you guys the product as well in the description if you ever want to try it, but it is literally my go-to. A lot of people don't believe me till they try it. So yeah, then on day 2 we started getting ready. For day 2 I wore my Rave with Magenta outfit, which I was super excited about. It was a new outfit from their collection. It had like fruits all over it and flowers and stuff, and it was just like really super fun and cute. So I was really happy to work with Belle on that, and I got a lot of compliments on it, and it was super comfortable too. We got ready and stuff, we drank again. Nothing crazy really happened. Took an Uber day 2 to get to the festival. Got there around like 4:30, around the same time, and again, there was no lineups. It was pretty awesome getting there. Sam didn't bring like 4 bottles because she didn't want to leave them in the Uber that day, so we weren't as drunk, I don't think. We were just kind of taking it a little slower. So yeah, we wanted to make sure we got to the festival for like the same time because again, we had to go and shoot some content. It was kind of just shooting them, trying to get it out of the way at the beginning of the festival so that we could enjoy the rest of the festival as well. And after I think around 5:36, we headed over from the main stage to the tent stage, which was for Proc and Fitch, which I was so excited for. They all know that I'm like super obsessed with them, and I was super excited to go see them. And I also announced on my Instagram post that we would be there if anyone wanted to come dance and meet us. It was really fun because a lot of people came out. We were just dancing around, vibing out. I mean, obviously I wasn't really dancing because I still shouldn't be dancing after I broke my foot, so I was just kind of chilling. I wore my Doc Martens. We got to Proc and Fitch around 6:15 and then met up with a bunch of different people. We found Kelsey and Laura. After many phone calls, we finally found them, and then Alyssa too. And then later on the day, we found Marco and a few other people too. So we had a little group going. We had a little group of shufflers going. It was nice. We basically, for the most part, stayed at that stage the rest of the day. There was like amazing artists back to back to back. I know there was like Ilias and Berentios. I don't know how to pronounce them, but they were good. Proc and Fitch was awesome. Sid was really good. Shiba San was killing it. And obviously everyone was super excited for Fisher, and he threw down all of his classic tunes, everything you would expect. He also played You Little Beauty, that everyone was like super excited about because I know that's kind of like his new track. I got a lot of footage in terms of just other people dancing as well, so look out for those videos on Zoneify. I'll definitely be making an after movie for Zoneify as well, but for the most part we just kind of vibed out at that stage. And I remember after posting about having everyone meet us at Proc and Fitch that day, they responded on my post that I made on Instagram, and they're like, oh, so that's who was like kicking up all the dust. And yeah, we just like hung out with the crew, got a bunch of videos in of all the girls dancing. We wanted to head back during Fisher's performance just to catch the last little bit of Tiesto. It was super fun, and I pulled out my light whip and we were just kind of dancing around and vibing out. And then we decided to leave, I think like around 20 minutes early, so that way we could beat the rush, and we decided to take the subway home.
Next station is Yorkdale Station.
And it was pretty funny, like being on a subway with like a bunch of people who are like drunk and lit. So we had a really great time overall. I know the girls like were really happy that we all went together, and it was just like a really nice fun weekend. This year overall, I would say my experience was a lot better than last year's. I think a lot of the problems that arose last year were dealt with this year. I think that there was way more water stations and more accessible water stations, and they didn't run out of water this year, which was nice, because last year they actually ran out of water one day at majority of the water stations, which was scary. But yeah, no, they didn't run out of water. They fixed a lot of the setup issues that they had in terms of just like the layout. The only thing was that at the Hennessy stage, it was a little bit hard to find an area to dance. There was a really cool giant hill that you could sit on if you wanted to, where there was like hundreds and hundreds of people. But if you wanted to go like on the ground level and just dance around, the way that you kind of enter through, there was kind of like a funnel effect happening where like there was too many people like standing in the front area, and it was just really hard to get into for the most part. But I really liked the setup of the tent this year. I think last year having it more closed, like an actual tent, made it like impossible to breathe and it was stifling. So this year they fixed that issue by having a more, I don't even know what it would be. It was more of like a canopy than it was a tent. But it was nice because you stayed out of the sun. It's always really hot at Veld because of the time of year. So it was really awesome that they kind of fixed that issue, and it was a lot more spacious under the tent, and you didn't have to worry about like going inside because it was open all the way around. So yeah, I really liked the setup of the tent this year. Yeah, I think the only flaws I really had were like the VIP section and how they had it set up, and that you couldn't go up into the upper decks even though you kind of paid to have access there. So for the most part, I think that it was a very successful year at Veld, and I think that they took a lot of the problems and comments and feedback that people had from last year, and they definitely improved it a lot. I would still like to see more genres of music at Veld. I think they're very limited when it comes to the styles that they choose. I know Veld used to be like offering a wide assortment of music from trance to techno, but now I find that they just kind of stick to the mainstream. I find that their selection in music is not the best, but for the most part, I think that we had a stellar time and that all the DJs performed really well. So that concludes my Veld vlog, where you guys kind of have an insight more into what goes on behind the scenes of my Instagram stories and posts. It's nice to kind of be able to explain what goes on more so I'm gonna hopefully do a lot more vlogging. I hope to vlog the next few festivals and also my trip to Portugal and Spain in September. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this, and if you guys have any questions about Veld, feel free to comment them below and I can definitely respond to your comments. But other than that, thank you guys so much for your constant support, and I hope that this vlog was helpful for you. Yeah, that is the tea from Veld 2019. Have a wonderful day.